Welcome to Anime Fanfiction Audiobook. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Chapter 5: The Strongest Assassination Squad. Chapter 5: Strongest Assassination Squad. Main mission: Establishing the Vongola family, increase completion rate. Current completion rate, 5%. Unlocking family member, Fran. Hint: the unlocked family members will appear by the host's side in 3 months. Establishing the Vongola family increased the completion rate of the main mission. At the same time, a family member was also unlocked. This would be of great help to Giotto. However, that wouldn't make any progress on the other mission, which was the Six Guardians mission. Seeing the unlocked family member was Fran, Giotto was silent for a moment. Fran was a member of Varia, the strongest assassination squad under Vongola Familia. And as the disciple of 6 paths of reincarnation, he was extremely skilled in illusion arts. At the same time, he also had a Hell Ring. In terms of strength, the Hell Ring was not much weaker than the Vongola Ring. Before the discovery of Dying Will Flame, Hell Ring was used to increase the user's strength. The combat strength of the person who used the Hell Ring would be greatly increased, but they had to exchange it with their soul, and the user could also turn from a warm person to a ferocious dictator. In other words, only people with strong enough spiritual force could completely control the power of the Hell Ring, and Fran, as one of the top illusionists, also had a strong spiritual force that could control the Hell Ring. In terms of combat strength, in the world of pirates, Fran was at least equal to a lieutenant general, but Giotto was not sure if he could reach the level of a vice admiral. But in any case, with Fran's help, the island would be safer. Now, the functional force of the Vongola family, besides Giotto himself, was only Reborn, so Fran's presence was essential. After all, the location of the island was a new world. In the future, there would definitely be a lot of turmoil. Hey, Giotto! Suddenly, Reborn walked over with a smile on his face. His eyes swept over Crowley and the others. Then he turned to look at Giotto and whispered, "These are the young people of the Familia, right? Leave the training to me. What do you think, boss? Since you took the initiative to bring it up, then, of course, there is no problem." "Oh. Master Reborn, please teach us." Crowley's eyes were firm, and he roared with all his blood boiling. At this time, he would probably never be able to imagine how much he would regret this decision. Of course, the later facts would also prove that Reborn was indeed the strongest home tutor. The people he trained would not remain weak no matter how weak they were. With Reborn in charge of training the youngsters that joined the family, Giotto instantly felt that he had nothing to do. The only thing that troubled him was the family's financial problem. Although he had brought a lot of belly when he returned to Second Island, the family members would keep increasing in the future, and the expenses would naturally become higher and higher. The Vongola family that he established existed as a mafia, but he did not intend to collect the protection fees from the people of Lincoln Island. After all, this was his hometown. Regarding the protection fees, he could wait until the territory of the Vongola family expanded. After considering all kinds of situations, Giotto made a decision. For now, the best way to collect funds was to rob. Of course, it was not a ridiculous thing like robbing a home, robbing the pirates who were rioting in the New World. After making this decision, Giotto sailed out to sea alone and handed over the family matters and the safety of Second Island to Reborn and Crowley, who were training. In fact, with Reborn there, ordinary pirates would not be able to cause trouble on Second Island. In the Sea of the New World, one small boat was sailing slowly. The flag hanging on the boat was not the flag of the world government and the marine, nor was it the skull flag used by pirates. It was a very special pattern, 2 long rifles crossed, and in the middle was a shield with a bullet engraved on it. This was the badge of the Vongola family. The reason why Giotto chose to make this badge into a flag and hang it on the boat was to increase the reputation of the family and help the completion of the main mission. But now, Giotto was alone on the ship, and his face was obviously depressed. Speaking of which, are these pirates so poor? It has been 2 months, and I only got 100 million belly from like 5 to 6 pirate ships? On the way back to the island, he easily dealt with a few pirates and got more than 300 million belly. Now he threw away his pride and specially came out to rob pirates. It took 2 months, and he worked hard to barely gather 100 million belly. If this went on, when would he be a proper boss? Of course, taking the heads of these pirates in exchange for the bounty, there are hundreds of millions of belly. However, in this chaotic era, the Marine headquarters in the New World was like a total joke. Aside from the G1 branch at the entrance of the New World, only the G5 branch was actually doing the work. And the distance was quite far. Generally, the bounty hunters in the New World wanted to exchange for the bounty. The most direct way was to find some middleman in the underworld to do so. This process would cost them a high commission fee, but this was the best choice for bounty hunters. Therefore, for the sake of a better future, Giotto now stuffed 5 to 6 heads with high bounties into a completely sealed box. Just as Giotto sighed and was ready to continue looking for the next target, a pirate ship suddenly appeared in front of him. Looking at the pirate flag hanging on it, Giotto took out a notebook and began to search for information about this pirate group. After confirming that the other party belonged to the bad guy group, he revealed a smile on his face. Now, he didn't need to look for the next target. He only hoped that the pirates could provide some help to the development of his family. Brew, brew. Just as Giotto was about to make a move, the den mushi he placed on the ship suddenly rang. Who is contacting me at this crucial time? Reborn? Giotto was stunned for a moment and then picked up the den mushi. Then, the den mushi's hair turned golden, and its face was rough and wild. At this time a familiar voice sounded. He, my disciple, you are no longer as weak as you used to now, right? The moment he heard this voice, Giotto frowned. First of all, I am not your disciple. You only taught me how to fuse 2 powers. Second, what does me being weak have to do with you? Douglas Bullet. Chapter 6, Douglas Bullet. Douglas Bullet, the demon's heir. This guy was so powerful that even Roger's crewmates called him a monster. Even the first mate, Rayleigh, could only fight him to a draw. But later, when Bullet learned that Roger was suffering from a terminal illness, he was shocked because he knew that Roger was going to die. He was worried that his vow to defeat Roger and become the strongest in the world could not be achieved. This made him feel very anxious. It was this anxiety that led Bullet to all kinds of confusion and gradually gave birth to the awareness you must protect your companions. Because of this feeling, he began to hesitate in battle, causing him to think that he had become weak. At the same time, Bullet also began to doubt Roger's strength. After he failed to win against Roger one last time, he quit the pirate group and became famous as a newcomer. At that time, there was one thing that made Giotto very difficult to understand. It was Barrett, who could clearly fight with Rayleigh to a draw. But after leaving Roger's pirate group and encountering the young crocodile, he didn't emerge victorious either against him. Giotto could understand if the duel between them was not settled, but it's a whole different thing if they were quite evenly matched. Was Crocodile a hidden big boss, or was Bullet simply getting weaker? A guy who could be evenly matched with Bullet was not even a particularly strong figure in the future and was defeated by Luffy that appeared out of nowhere. Speaking of which, from the time when Roger was sentenced, Bullet had made a mess in the sea that there was no grass growing where he went, and people despised him so much. At such a time, he suddenly contacted me. Giotto estimated that nothing good would happen. Back on the ship, you were the most powerful one among the others. That special power was called Dying Will Flame, right? Compared to my hockey, it's not weak at all. Bullet, why are you looking for me? Giotto turned to look at the pirate group that was getting closer and closer to him and said with a frown. He didn't care about the pirate group that was closing in. After all, they weren't a threat to him, but the guy on the other side of the line made him frown. Hunting other pirates on the sea, are you that short on money now? I have a lot of useless treasures here, which is about 1 billion belly. So, let's make a deal, Giotto. Bullet's voice was full of temptation. He had indeed amassed a lot of wealth. After all, He had killed a lot of pirates and the marine in this period of time and destroyed some islands. It was not strange to have 1 billion belly. Let's talk about your deal later. I have to solve the trouble in front of me first. Giotto slowly put down the den mushi. The pirate ship was less than 10 meters away from him. At this moment, he could clearly hear the conversation and laughter of the pirates on the ship. Trouble? Bullet asked subconsciously. They're just a bunch of idiots who haven't seen the face of death. They can be dealt with very quickly. Don't tell me you don't even have that much patience? The moment he finished speaking, the dying will flame on Giotto's forehead lit up. His entire aura changed along with it. The color of observation haki also covered the surroundings in an instant. In addition, Vongola's blood was quite unique, so not a single thing in the surroundings could escape his perception. Using the power of the flames in his hands, he completely disappeared from his small boat in the blink of an eye. What? Captain, that guy just now disappeared. On the pirate ship, the pirate who was just rubbing his hands was suddenly shocked. He rubbed his eyes and looked carefully. He confirmed that the boat in front of him was empty. You are looking in the wrong direction. Suddenly, Giotto appeared behind the pirate without warning, and then he punched forward fiercely. Bam! After a loud noise, the pirate was directly blown away, and a human-shaped hole was directly smashed on the bow of the pirate ship. Damn, since when did this guy? Orange Flame? The devil fruit user? The other pirates on the pirate ship all focused on Giotto at the moment, but they were not a threat to him. Bastard, you attacked my crew. Have you thought about how you will die? It was a guy who was holding a huge warhammer in his hand and approaching Giotto. Sorry, Giotto sighed. Ha ha ha, I won't forgive you even if you admit your mistake now. The captain of the pirate ship thought that he had scared Giotto into admitting his mistake. Then, he burst into laughter. Hearing this, Giotto was slightly stunned. I don't have time to play with you guys anymore. If I leave Bullet to his own device for too long, he might do something that I find extremely troublesome. His apology just now was to show that he had no time to waste, but judging from this situation, the other party must have misunderstood his intention. Bullet did not hang up the den mushi. If he kept ignoring the madman, he didn't know what crazy things the madman would do. Although he was acquainted with Bullet, this didn't rule out the possibility that Bullet would suddenly attack Second Island in anger. Because of this, Giotto didn't plan to hold back. The moment his words fell, dying will flame on his hands burst wildly. His speed was so fast that it was difficult to catch with the naked eye. In only a few moments, only the captain and Giotto himself were left standing on the ship. Gulp. What exactly happened just now? Why did all his crew fall? What kind of monster was this guy with orange flames burning on his hands and forehead? Before he could calm himself down, Giotto put his hand on his shoulder. Your pirate career is over. Dying will flame 0-point breakthrough. The extreme cold has completely frozen the pirate captain, and his vitality will only dissipate over time in this ice. Hey, are you done? Bullet's impatient voice came from the den mushi. Tell me your deal, Barrett. Giotto returned to his ship, picked up the den mushi, and spoke slowly. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to like and subscribe.